I'm not exactly sure where to start, but I guess I should give a little background. My name's Mike, and I've been married to Lisa for about 8 years now. We met in college, and honestly, I thought we had a pretty solid relationship. She was always the ambitious type, smart, driven, the kind of woman who knew what she wanted. I was happy to be with her, even if she had a bit of a bitchy streak sometimes. But recently, things started to feel off. It all started about 6 months ago. Lisa became more distant, more irritable. She'd snap at me over little things, then deny it when I called her out. She'd say I was overthinking, that she was just stressed at work or tired from juggling everything. But I could tell she was hiding something. She'd suddenly be late coming home from errands, or she'd excuse herself to take long phone calls in another room. At first, I shrugged it off. Maybe she was stressed, maybe she was just tired of the routine. But then the small signs snowballed. One day, I noticed a new lipstick stain on her shirt when she came home. It was a bright red, not her usual choice, and I'd never seen it before. She brushed it off, laughed it away, saying I was imagining things, but I was. I started paying more attention. She also became more flirtatious on her phone, laughing at texts, giggling when she thought I wasn't looking. She told me she was just texting her sister or her boss. Yeah, right, I know her. I know her type. She's the kind of woman who can lie effortlessly, make you doubt your own judgment. Then about a week ago, I caught her in a lie I couldn't ignore. She said she was going to the grocery store, but I saw her slip out at midnight. I followed her discreetly just to see where she'd go. She pulled into the driveway of the house next door, our neighbor's place. I know the family well. Tony, the husband, is a decent guy, but I've always thought Lisa and his daughter, Emily, were a little too close. I saw Lisa get out of her car and Emily was waiting by the door. They hugged. I froze. I watched from my window as they disappeared inside. That's when I saw her for what she really is. She's been cheating on me with our neighbor. I couldn't believe it, felt like my chest was caving in. I stared at the window, frozen, trying to process what I just saw. My mind raced. How long had this been going on? Why her? Why now? I felt a mix of rage, heartbreak, and a deep sense of betrayal I don't think I've ever experienced before. The thing is, Lisa's the kind of woman who's good at lying, good at hiding her tracks. She's a bitch about most things, but she always had this way of making everything seem normal. Except now, I see her for what she is, someone who would cheat, lie, and manipulate just to get what she wants. It's like I was blind. Or maybe I just didn't want to see it, but I saw it now. And I can't unsee it. The next day, I woke up with this terrible knot in my stomach. I kept replaying what I saw over and over. How she was all over Emily, whispering and giggling at the door like some teenagers sneaking around. I felt sick. That was the moment I knew I had to confront her. But I didn't just want to yell or accuse her blindly. I needed to be strategic. I needed to see what kind of person she really was, so I started watching her more closely. I checked her phone, her messages, her social media. I needed proof. And I found more than I bargained for. Texts, pictures, secret calls. She was deep into this affair. I found proof she had been seeing Emily at least twice a week. It wasn't just a one-time thing. It had been going on under my nose for a while. That's when I knew I had to confront her face to face. When I finally did, I didn't hold back. I wanted her to know I wasn't blind anymore. I waited until she got home from her work trip. Another lie, I'm sure, and I laid everything out. I showed her the messages, the pictures, the dates. Her face twisted into a mask of anger, denial, and contempt. She told me I was crazy, that I was accusing her for no reason, that I was paranoid. But I knew better. I saw the truth with my own eyes. The thing is, she's a master of spinning stories. She acts innocent, acts like she's the victim. She told me, "You're overreacting. You don't understand what you're seeing. Emily's like family." Yeah, right. Family doesn't fuck your wife while you're lying in a hospital bed recovering from surgery. That's when everything changed for me. The anger, the betrayal, it all hit hard. I didn't want to believe she could be this cruel, but she was. And now I was stuck with the aftermath of her lies. After that confrontation, everything spiraled even faster than I expected. Lisa kept up her act, denying everything, twisting her words, throwing in some tears and fake apologies, trying to make me doubt what I saw. She stormed around the house, calling me paranoid, saying I was accused for no reason, that I was overthinking everything. She even had the nerve to say I was just jealous because I'd been in the hospital and wasn't paying enough attention to her. Yeah, right. She acted like I was the crazy one, not her, but I wasn't buying it. My mind was racing, trying to figure out what to do next. The betrayal was like a slap in the face. No, worse. It felt like I'd been punched in the gut and then kicked while I was down. How could she do this? How could she lie, cheat, and then turn around and deny it all? I had always thought she was smarter than this, more manipulative. She's the kind of woman who can make you feel like you're the one losing it, and for a while I was starting to believe her. But this time I knew she was lying. I started to think about everything, our life together, the promises she made, the vows we took. All of it felt like a lie now. And I felt so stupid for trusting her for so long. I kept replaying that night I saw her sneaking out. I kept remembering the look in her eyes when she denied everything. It was like I had been blind from the beginning, or maybe I just refused to see the signs. Whatever it was, I realized I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. I decided to start collecting more evidence. I needed proof, beyond just the pictures from the window. I snuck into her phone while she was out carefully so she wouldn't notice. I went through her texts, her social media, even her emails. What I found was worse than I expected. She'd been messaging Emily constantly, flirty, suggestive messages. They'd been meeting more often than I thought. I saw pictures of them together, laughing and touching like they didn't care about the world around them. It was all right there, clear as day. I was furious. I felt like I'd been punched again, but this time in the gut, and I couldn't breathe. I kept asking myself how I missed all these signs, how I never saw this coming. I'd been in the hospital recovering, and she was over there with our neighbor's teenage daughter. Asterisk, 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 the neighbor's daughter, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. I mean, what the hell? How did she think she could get away with it? Did she think I'd never find out? Or did she just not care? The worst part was just how cold she was when I confronted her with the evidence. She looked me straight in the eyes and lied, again. Said she didn't know what I was talking about. That Emily was like family. That I was just jealous. That I was making stuff up because I was weak and vulnerable. I couldn't believe how manipulative she was being. She's always been good at lying. But this was next level. She knew exactly what she was doing. I remember feeling like I was about to lose my mind. The betrayal cut so deep. For 8 years I thought we had something real. Turns out she was just using me, using her words, her charm, to hide how cold and selfish she really is. I'd always prided myself on being a good husband, maybe too much so. But now I saw her for what she truly was, a selfish, manipulative woman who'd cheat and lie just for her own pleasure. And Emily, the girl, she's just a kid. A kid who probably thought she was doing something harmless, but to me, it's just sick. I couldn't just sit there and let her continue lying. I decided I needed to step back, take some time to think about everything. But part of me knew I couldn't stay in that house with her anymore. Not after seeing her with Emily, not after discovering that she's been deceiving me for months. I needed to plan my next move carefully. But honestly, I was just exhausted. I felt numb, betrayed, and humiliated all at once. I never thought I'd be the one betrayed like this. By my wife, by our neighbor, by everyone I thought I could trust. I started making a mental list of what I'd do next. Confront her again. Tell her I knew everything and demand answers. Or just leave, cut everything off. The anger inside me was boiling, but I knew I had to handle this smartly. I couldn't just blow up and do something reckless. I needed to find the right way to handle her, to make her pay for all this, because I wasn't going to be her fool anymore. Not after she showed me her true face. Not after she cheated with our neighbor's daughter while I was laid up in the hospital. That was the moment everything changed for me. My trust shattered, my pride wounded. And I knew I had to do something about it. After I gathered the evidence, I knew I couldn't just confront Lisa right away. Honestly, I was too angry, too hurt, and I needed to think about what I wanted to do. I decided to keep my discoveries to myself for a few days, just to let her sweat a little, see how she reacted without her knowing I had all this proof. I stayed quiet, watched her, listened to her lies, and tried to piece everything together. During those days, I felt like I was walking on a knife's edge. Every little thing she said or did made my stomach churn. She was still acting like everything was normal, cooking dinner, acting like the perfect wife. But I knew better. I saw her sneaking glances at her phone, quickly deleting messages, hiding her tracks. It was obvious she was on edge, probably realizing I was onto her, even if she didn't know I had enough evidence to bury her. I felt a strange sense of calm mixed with the worst kind of rage. I wanted to confront her, but I knew I had to be smart about it. One night, I finally decided it was time. I prepared everything, my questions, my evidence, the right moment. I didn't want her to spin some new lie and turn the tables on me. I wanted her to know I knew everything. That was the plan. I sat her down in the living room, the air thick between us. She looked at me with that fake innocent expression, already trying to act like she was the victim. I let her talk, let her try to convince me she was innocent, but I cut her off. I pulled out my phone and showed her the messages, the photos, the timestamps. I told her I knew about Emily, about the secret meetings, everything. Her face twisted into a mask of shock and anger, then quickly morphed into that fake, bitchy smile she always used when trying to manipulate. She looked me dead in the eyes and started lying again, calling me crazy, saying I was jealous and insecure, that she loved me and never did anything wrong. She said I was paranoid and overreacting because I was weak and vulnerable after surgery. I couldn't believe her audacity. I felt the anger bubble up. I told her she could keep lying if she wanted, but I knew the truth. I told her I was done trusting her, that I'd had enough of her games, her lies, her manipulations. I told her I was going to leave. Yeah, I finally said it, that I couldn't stay in a marriage where I was being played for a fool. Her reaction was pure rage. She started screaming, calling me a psycho, a jealous idiot, saying I was ruining everything because I couldn't handle her being beautiful and successful. She told me I was in her way, that she deserved better than to be trapped with some weak, insecure husband. That night, I felt so many things: disgust, heartbreak, anger, but also a strange sense of relief. For the first time in months, I saw her for what she really was: a selfish, manipulative woman who'd cheat and lie just to get her way. And I realized I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay. I told her she needed to leave, that I wanted her out of my house, out of my life. She threw a tantrum, calling me names, cursing me, trying to guilt-trip me into taking her back, but I wasn't having it. I was done playing her game. The next morning, I packed a bag, took what was mine, and told her she could keep the house and everything in it. I wasn't going to be part of her life anymore. I just wanted out, to start fresh somewhere where I wasn't constantly betrayed, lied to, and made a fool of. I felt a strange mix of relief and emptiness. I was finally free from her claws, but I also knew I'd carry the scars of this betrayal for a long time. That day marked the beginning of a new chapter for me. I moved out, found a small apartment nearby, and started to rebuild my life. I still think about her, about Emily, about everything she stole from me. Sometimes I wonder if I was too naive, too trusting. But mostly I realize that I was just too blind for too long. Lisa showed me her true colors, and I have to live with that knowledge now. The thing I've learned and want to pass on to anyone reading this is that betrayal cuts deep. Trust is fragile, and when it's broken, you have to decide whether to fight for it or walk away. For me, walking away was the only choice I had left, because no matter how much love you have, some betrayals are just too much to forgive. If I could give anyone advice, it's this: pay attention to the signs. Don't ignore your gut. And if someone cheats and lies their way into your life, don't be afraid to take your power back, because once trust is broken, it's almost impossible to fix. After I moved out, everything felt surreal. I spent the first few days in a daze, replaying everything, trying to make sense of what had happened. I kept asking myself if I'd missed the signs, if I could have done something differently, or if I was just a fool for trusting her all those years. But deep down, I knew I had done everything I could to see the truth. She just chose to hide it, lie to my face, and cheat behind my back. That realization didn't make me feel better, but it at least gave me some clarity. Living alone was a strange adjustment. No more waking up to her bitchy remarks or hearing her fake laugh when she was lying about something. I started sleeping better, but I also felt a gnawing emptiness. I still loved her, part of me still did, but I couldn't ignore the fact that she'd betrayed me so brutally. The trust was shattered. I was angry at myself for trusting her for so long, angry at her for lying and cheating, and angry at Emily for being such a reckless kid. But mostly, I was just hurt. Deep down, I wondered if I'd ever really know who she was, or if I'd just been a fool to believe she loved me. In the days that followed, I began to reach out to some friends. I needed support, someone who could listen without judging me too harshly. I told a few close ones, and surprisingly, most of them said I'd done the right thing. That Lisa was a liar and a manipulator. That I shouldn't have tolerated her bullshit for so long. Still, hearing that didn't make the pain go away. It just made me realize I wasn't alone in feeling like shit. I also started to think about what I'd do next. I knew I couldn't just stay in that apartment forever. I needed a fresh start, somewhere I could breathe, heal, and figure out what I wanted. I began looking for a new place, something small but comfortable where I could get my head straight. I thought about therapy too. I didn't want to carry this pain forever, and I knew bottling it up wouldn't help. Maybe talking to someone who understood would make a difference. Meanwhile, Lisa kept trying to reach out, sending me messages, calling, even showing up at my new place a couple of times. I ignored her at first. I was angry, hurt, and honestly, I didn't want to see her face. She kept claiming she was sorry, that she didn't mean to hurt me, and that she loved me. But I knew better. She only cared about herself. Her apologies were empty, her words hollow. She was trying to manipulate me again, and I wasn't falling for it. I realized that forgiveness wasn't on the table, not yet, maybe not ever. I took some time to reflect on everything I'd learned. The biggest lesson, I think, is that people reveal themselves in crises. Lisa's true colors came out when I was vulnerable, lying in a hospital bed. That's when she chose to cheat, lie, and manipulate. It made me question whether she ever truly loved me or if I was just convenient. I also learned that sometimes you have to cut your losses. Holding on to someone who cheats and lies is only going to hurt you more in the long run. You have to protect yourself, even if it means walking away from what you thought was your life. One thing I've come to accept is that betrayal doesn't mean your relationship was a failure. Sometimes it just means that the person you trusted was never really who you thought they were. It's painful, but it's also a kind of liberation. I'm starting to see that now. I won't forget what happened, but I can learn from it. I can grow stronger, more cautious, more aware of what I deserve. I've been through hell, and while I wouldn't wish this pain on anyone, I know I'll come out the other side better, wiser, more resilient. The process of healing is slow. Some days are better than others. I still get angry sometimes, especially when I think about her with Emily or all the lies she told. But I remind myself that I am better off without her. I deserve someone who values me, who respects me, and who doesn't cheat behind my back. I've realized that because of this betrayal, I now know what I will and won't accept in my future relationships. That's the silver lining, I guess. If I hadn't gone through this, I wouldn't have learned these tough lessons. So what's next? I don't have all the answers yet. I'm still figuring out my life piece by piece. But I do know I won't let her or anyone else make me feel small. I won't let her lies define me. I'll rebuild my life slowly but surely. And one day I hope I'll be able to trust again, not blindly but carefully with my eyes wide open. Because now I know what betrayal looks like firsthand. And I won't be fooled again. The days turned into weeks, and slowly I began to feel a little more like myself. It wasn't easy. Every time I thought I had moved past it, something reminded me, an old song, a street I used to walk down, or even a stupid smell that brought her face to mind. Every time I'd get hit with that wave of pain and betrayal all over again. But I told myself I had to keep going. I had to rebuild, even if it meant doing it one small step at a time. I threw myself into work more than ever. I figured if I kept busy, I wouldn't have time to dwell on her. I started doing things I loved, hiking, reading, reconnecting with old friends I'd neglected. While married, the truth is I was trying to find myself again. I realized that in all those years I'd lost part of who I was. I'd been so focused on making her happy, on keeping the marriage together, that I'd forgotten about my own needs. Now I was making up for lost time. I also began dating again, slowly, cautiously. I didn't rush into anything serious because honestly I was still pretty damaged, but I needed to remind myself that life moved on. I met a few women here and there, some fun, some just casual. Nothing serious yet, but it helped me feel alive again. More than anything, I needed to remember what it was like to connect with someone, to share a moment without that nagging feeling of betrayal hanging over me. Meanwhile, Lisa's attempts to get back into my life became more persistent, but I stayed firm. Every time she reached out, I reminded myself why I left. She's manipulative, selfish, and totally untrustworthy. No matter how much she apologized, I knew she'd just do it again if she got the chance. I told her I needed space to heal, that I wasn't ready to even talk. About us, she didn't take it well. She yelled, called me names, played the victim, trying to guilt-trip me into taking her back. But I refused. I knew better now. Her words were just that, words, empty and full of lies. One day I finally sat down and wrote her a letter. Not to send her, just to get everything out of my head. I detailed everything I saw, how I felt, what I needed to say. I told her she broke my trust and I didn't see a way back from that. I emphasized that I deserved better, that I wouldn't be her fool anymore. It was a long, cathartic process, something I needed to do to kind of purge all that anger and pain. I kept a copy, just to remind myself how far I'd come, and to reinforce that I was done with her lies. I also started going to therapy. Honestly, I wasn't sure if it would help, but I figured it was worth a shot. Talking to someone impartial, someone who understood betrayal and heartbreak, helped me process some of the worst feelings I'd been carrying. It helped me see that I wasn't crazy for feeling this way, that I was hurting and that was okay. It allowed me to start forgiving myself for trusting her, even if she didn't deserve it. Most importantly, therapy helped me understand that I could survive this, that I could come out stronger on the other side. Throughout all this, one thing became crystal clear. I was finally learning to love myself again. I'd spent so many years trying to be the good husband, trying to fix everything for her, that I forgot to care for myself. But now I was putting myself first. I was setting boundaries, saying no to her manipulative attempts and refusing to be part of her twisted game. I realized that I don't need her approval or her lies. I just need to rebuild my life piece by piece. I won't lie, some days are still tough. I wake up with regrets. I wonder if I could have fought harder or if I should try to forgive her. But then I remember the lies, the infidelity, the way she degraded herself and me. I remember that I deserve honesty and respect, that I deserve someone who doesn't cheat behind my back. I have to remind myself that I am worthy of love and trust, and I won't settle for less anymore. So here I am, not perfect, not fully healed, but definitely better. I'm learning to live without her, without that betrayal hanging over my head. I don't know what the future holds, but I know I'm done being a victim. I'm taking control of my life again, and I'm determined not to let her or anyone else ruin me like that again. That's the biggest lesson I've learned so far. Sometimes, you have to hit rock bottom to realize you're stronger than you thought. And I truly believe that maybe, just maybe, I'll find happiness again. But only with honest, trustworthy people who respect me. Because I've learned the hard way that some people are just not worth the pain they cause. Looking back now, I realize that this entire ordeal has fundamentally changed me. I used to believe in the idea of forever, that if you loved someone enough, you could work through anything. Turns out, not everyone is worth that effort. Lisa proved that in the worst way possible. She showed me a side of herself I never wanted to see, and it almost broke me, but I'm grateful it didn't destroy me completely. Instead, it made me stronger, more cautious, more aware of what I truly deserve. One thing I've come to accept is that betrayal isn't just about the other person's actions. It's about how you respond to them. I could have let myself drown in bitterness, anger, and regret, but I chose otherwise. I decided to rebuild my life with honesty and respect, first for myself, then for whoever comes next. Because I now see that my worth isn't dictated by someone else's lies or cheating. It's something I have to define for myself. I often wonder about Lisa and Emily. Do they realize what they've done? Do they even care? Honestly, I don't care anymore. What matters is that I've moved on. I've learned to recognize red flags early, to listen to my gut, and to stand firm when someone crosses boundaries. I'm not perfect, far from it, but I'm learning. I accept my imperfections, my scars, and my mistakes. because they're part of who I am now, and I refuse to let betrayal define me. I want to share this story because I know there are others out there who might be going through something similar. Maybe you're suspecting your partner is cheating, or maybe you already found out. Either way, my advice is simple. Don't ignore your instincts. Trust matters more than anything. And if someone betrays you, it's okay to walk away. It's okay to be angry, sad, or confused. But don't let betrayal turn you into someone you're not. Take that pain, learn from it, and use it as a stepping stone toward a better, stronger version of yourself. As for me, I don't know what the future holds. Maybe I'll find someone new someday. Maybe I won't. Right now, I'm just focused on healing, on rediscovering who I am without her. And I know deep down that I'll be okay. Because I've faced the worst a person can throw at me and I've survived. That's what matters. So to anyone reading this who's in the midst of betrayal or heartbreak, just breathe. Take your time. Don't rush the healing process. You're stronger than you think. And even in the darkest moments, there's a light waiting for you at the end of the tunnel. It might be faint, but it's there. Keep moving forward, because you deserve happiness, trust, and love on your own terms, and no one has the right to take that away from you.